TalkSport Live, get in contact with us. Send us a photograph of you nice and warm as we freeze here in Manchester. We always appreciate hearing from you, whether you're driving or whether you've got it on in the house. At TalkSport Live. Kickoff about to get underway. Tottenham are in a huddle on the far left-hand side in white. Manchester United kicking from right to left in their usual red and white shorts with black socks. And they're ready to go, just waiting on Spurs. 4:30 local time, one of the biggest games of the season so far. Ange Postecoglou and Erik ten Hag in a very firm handshake. Postecoglou's got black gloves on, whereas ten Hag is braving those knuckles. And he's braving the fact that Manchester United are slipping down. Chelsea have overtaken them. They're suddenly mid-table. How must-win is this game for the home side?
This for Manchester United, it is must-win if they want to have any chance of getting into the talk for Champions League spots this season. They have to beat Spurs. If Spurs get anything from this game, the gap remains the same, and that gap between when the other teams play next week is just going to get bigger and bigger for Manchester United.
Underway, and Tottenham are pressing early on. Bentancur tried to work it forwards, but Manchester United able to come away with it. And now Dalot has the ball. Varane all the way back to Onana, who's outside his area and taking his time. Plenty of pressure. Richarlison, and you can see that Tottenham are not going to give Manchester United any time on the ball. Garnacho, though, is able to bring it away and then switch it over to the left-hand side. I'll run through the teams for you again when we get a break in play. Manchester United, well-weighted ball down the left-hand side, looking for Wan-Bissaka. In the end, it was shepherded out. Goal kick to Tottenham. And just whilst we have this lull, I mentioned it right at the beginning, I suppose let's get the elephant out of the room. I'm going to give you the platform and opportunity to talk about your goal at Old Trafford.
My goal at Old Trafford, probably the worst thing I could have done on the night. It was 0-0 at the time. I put us 1-0 up for Wimbledon with about 20 minutes to go. Corner from the left, came across, I was about 12 yards out. Right foot volley, bottom corner, Schmeichel no chance. But Manchester United got annoyed and won 2-1.
Can I tell you a little bit of good history and bad history about yourself? You are the only ever centre-back to do one thing against Manchester United. Do you know what that is? The goal is a part of it, but there's two other things.
I don't know.
I will tell you. Chris Perry, you are the only centre-back ever to have scored against Manchester United, had an own goal against Manchester United, and have been sent off against Manchester United.
Really? Well, one of those things is good anyway.
The goal in the 2-1. There was a 4-2 where you scored an own goal, and then you were sent off for Charlton.
I was sent off for Charlton, yeah.
So there we go, a little bit of history as Richarlison works the ball to the right-hand side, and it's chipped in, but just a little bit too close to Onana at the near post, and everybody was at the back post, so that's comfortable for the Cameroon goalkeeper. And Manchester United come away with it quickly on the counter-attack. It's fed through to Rashford. No flag. It's tight. Rashford into the area. Sets himself. Neat feet by Rashford. It falls to Højlund, who fires it into the left-hand corner. Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0. Højlund with the winner against Aston Villa, and now with his second Premier League goal inside 3 minutes. Rashford showed poise and composure. Eventually the shot deflected into the path of Højlund. It looked like he needed it first time, but he took a touch, set himself and smashed it into the top left-hand corner for Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0.
Well, it's a quick counter-attack. Onana starts it, releases Garnacho, he comes inside skip, lovely ball from Fernandes to release Rashford, who looks onside, just onside. He couldn't quite get it under control, comes inside, shot's blocked, falls into the path of Højlund, who just shifts it onto his left foot and fires a rocket of a left foot shot past Vicario, high into the roof of the net. Vicario's got no chance, and Højlund, who missed a few chances in the FA Cup against Wigan last week, gets off to the perfect start, and he really could do with this goal, particularly Old Trafford.
I thought as well he improvised, because the first touch was sort of caught under his feet and he had to nudge it.
Just
then maybe
dragged
he could
it
have
out from under his feet again, didn't he? I mean, it was good, but he fired it. He didn't think about it. He got his head down and just put his foot through it, and it's the perfect finish.
Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0. The goal stands. VAR had a look, but as Chris alluded to, Rashford had timed his run perfectly. And Manchester United have got off to the ideal start. Højlund with 2 Premier League goals, and they've both been big. Comeback win over Villa for 3-2. And now 1-0 after 2.5 minutes against Spurs. And Tottenham have to respond, but they're not fazed, are they, by going behind Spurs?
They're not, no. You know, one thing under Ange Postecoglou, Spurs will continue to play the same way that they always do.
Richarlison wins a 50-50, and that keeps things alive and allows Timo Werner to run towards the corner flag. His first meaningful touch, but it's well defended. 5 minutes gone, and it will be a throw-in to Spurs. Richarlison trying to win the corner, and does so by the looks of things on this near left-hand side of Dalot. Richarlison spoke in the build-up to the game about how he was unhappy, not just on the football field, but personal circumstances, and he saw a therapist, and now not only is he happier, but that's reflecting in his football.
Well, that's it, you know, and off-your-field stuff can affect how you play, and obviously scored 5 goals in the last 5 games at a crucial time with Son missing.
Corner to Spurs, their first of the game on this near left-hand side. Porro to deliver in towards the near post, confidently headed away by Rashford, all the way back to the halfway line, 30 yards from goal, and Tottenham have to build once more. Højbjerg spreads it out to the right-hand side, back into Bentancur. Højlund is trotting without putting any significant pressure, but just holding his position, and Tottenham realise Manchester United have found their shape. Eriksen's there as well. Højbjerg, though, neat ball down the right-hand side. Cross comes in towards the near post, bit short for Richarlison, and Mainu is there to clear for Manchester United, who have defended well so far, but also caused problems on the counter-attack, and here they come again. Ball switched to the right-hand side. Højlund to Garnacho, who can run at Udogie. There's an overlap from Dalot as well. Dalot is found and then plays it against Udogie, who recovered well, and it's off his shins for a Manchester United corner.
Yeah, the goal came from big space down the right-hand side. Ball switched out to Garnacho. He's got lots of space again. Attacks Udogie, slides in Dalot on the overlap, who looks to cut it back towards the penalty spot where Bruno Fernandes was arriving, and it's put behind by Udogie, but they seem to have identified areas in wide spaces where if they attack quickly, Manchester United, they can cause Spurs problems.
At TalkSport Live, if you'd like a shout-out, send us the photograph as well. Manchester United corner on the near right-hand side. Dalot still standing by Udogie. Eriksen will take. Evans has come up as well, and the referee, John Brooks, is just having words with Højbjerg and Evans, who are grappling in the box.
Oh, that was a little bit naughty from Johnny Evans there.
Eriksen to deliver, swings it towards the back post, and it was Rashford there who almost tried to just caress it into the far right-hand corner. It was a neat idea, difficult chance to execute, and he was nearly able to leave Vicario grounded. I think actually the Spurs goalkeeper might have just had that covered if it was on target, but it's about 2 yards wide.
Yeah, but I think the worrying thing for Spurs was Marcus Rashford was standing in the box and was never picked up. And it was an awkward height for him to volley. Couldn't really get any power, and it just tried to guide it towards goal, didn't he? But had that fallen at the right height, they could well have found themselves 2 goals down.
Jim Ratcliffe proving the lucky charm then so far for Manchester United. Long way to go though, 8 minutes. I'll run through the teams for you again in just a moment. It's great to have your company though on TalkSport's Premier League Live. Hello to all of our listeners in North, Central and South America on the TuneIn app, and also those who are listening on Sirius as well. Cute Sports Guy's been in touch and said he's driving back from the Gulf of Mexico and is listening following a week's vacation. As Manchester United pick up the ball on the left-hand side, it's Bruno Fernandes. He just dinks one in looking for Højlund, who applauds the intent, but the cross was overcooked and Tottenham come forwards on the counter-attack. Udogie is able to go all the way up to the halfway line, but then checks back and finds Højbjerg, who has been linked with Atletico Madrid and also Juventus. And now it will be a relatively purposeful run forwards by Pedro Porro, but then he wasn't quite sure, was he, Chris, whether to sort of shoot or just keep going, and in the end he did nothing.
He just kind of ran out of options, didn't really have a pass available, and tried to bend it round Johnny Evans, who got a slight deflection on it. Simple save for Onana.
Hello to Lee Hart, who's driving through a frozen North Dakota. It's minus 30 degrees with a tanker full of moonshine. Sundog shining bright, though, he says. Look how strong that sun is, Chris.
Lee, I think, sends us a picture every week of where he is. Every single Sunday that I've been on, he sent a picture, and he some beautiful pictures of where he drives.
And hello to Dan as well, who says listening from Port Harcourt in Nigeria after a woeful performance from Nigeria's Super Eagles. I hope Manchester United don't follow suit. Well, so far so good, and Garnacho comes forwards, hungry for more on the right-hand side. He's had a lot of joy against a doggy so far, but on this occasion the Tottenham fullback does enough to just muscle him off the ball. And Bentancur has it up against Eriksson on the right-hand side. Just the one change for Manchester United. Højlund, the goal scorer, coming back in. He played in the FA Cup. This is one change from the last Premier League fixture. And he's shown his worth with a confidence-boosting goal, his second in the Premier League. 5, remember, in the Champions League as well. Richarlison, neat ball infield to Bentancur. Space on the right-hand side. Werner is calling for it at the back post. He's the intended target, and he gets a header in as well. Oh, and it takes a deflection, I think, off Menu, and it clips the inside of the post and goes wide. Nobody was picking up Werner. There's an inquest going on at the moment from the Manchester United back line. It was just a little deft chip towards the back post. Dalot was completely grounded, and in fact, it wasn't Menu, it was Evans just back-headering it. And whether or not that saves a goal or almost creates an own goal, I'm not sure, but either way, it's a corner to Spurs.
Well, it was a crucial touch, wasn't it? And a little bit of confusion there at the back post between Wan-Bissaka and Johnny Evans about who should have been marking Timo Werner.
Spurs corner into the near post, Bentancur! And this time it's off the line. It was a glancing header towards the far right-hand corner, and Dalot was on the line. And he'll feel that he's vindicated after ball watching a moment ago, but the danger's not over as a cross comes in. It's blocked by Bruno Fernandes, and then he volleys it half clear, just about keeping the ball in play. Skip picks it up 30 yards from goal. Timo Werner, who is causing problems, running towards the byline, firmly tackled though by Dalot, and that's much better defending, both to clear the ball off the line and then to slide in and dispossess Werner.
Yeah, 2 crosses, one from the corner, obviously one chance here for Richarlison.
He's just muscling up against Dalot inside the area on the left-hand side, and the final touch is off Dalot, and that will be another Spurs corner. But just talk us through, Chris, the Bentancur header.
Well, Bentancur starts on the goalkeeper and just runs to the near post, and no one follows him, and the ball's played there, and he glances his header towards the back post, and it's brilliant from Dalot, who gets round Onana and clears off the line. Otherwise, it's 1-1.
Hello to Tim, a cold and irritated Spurs fan from southeast Pennsylvania, enjoying the commentary but not the weather. I think everyone in the world is cold at the moment. Tottenham corner, Pedro Porro towards the 6-yard area, half cleared by Wan-Bissaka. Garnacho battling with Skip. Skip does really well though to bring the ball down on the edge of the area. Eriksson is forcing him wide, and then he just prods it out to that right-hand side, and Brennan Johnson is offside.
Spurs coming back into the game now. If you watch Spurs this season, you know that they're going to create chances. They're going to commit a lot of bodies forward. And if Manchester United are going to have to defend really well if they're going to keep hold of a clean sheet today. But what United have done that a lot of other teams haven't this season is they're looking to hit Spurs very quickly on the counter-attack. And they certainly have pace in wide areas with Rashford and Garnacho.
Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0. 13 minutes gone at Old Trafford. Rasmus Højlund with the early goal. A fierce finish into the top left-hand corner. Garnacho able to get away from a doggy. And just before the byline, the Spurs fullback recovers well to slide in and concede a corner. Garnacho has landed heavily on that right shoulder. He was losing balance, but then was able to regain it before the sliding challenge came in. It was a fair one. Garnacho just limping and walking a little bit gingerly, but he should be okay. Those are the kind that you can just run off, aren't they?
That's going to be a really good battle down that side, because the doggy loves to get forward and will want to get forward, but Garnacho I don't think will maybe track him back at times.
Højlund and Varane around the penalty spot. Eriksson's delivery is poor, and it's half cleared by Tottenham. Menu, though, is in a little bit of a battle here against Skip. to prevent a counter-attack. He does well to regain possession. Ball bobbles around on the edge of the Spurs area, and finally it's worked up to Brennan Johnson, who hasn't really managed to get involved so far, but wins his side a throw-in right on the halfway line. And then after the throw-in is immediately clipped by Bruno Fernandes. A needless foul. Tottenham free kick, halfway line, right on the far right-hand side. Just a reminder, Timo Werner making his debut and has had a header that Johnny Evans back-headed wide of the right-hand post as Werner looks at it. May even have brushed the woodwork. Tottenham have responded relatively well after falling behind early. They're just starting to get their foot on the ball.
They are, and Spurs like to control the tempo of the game. They like to control possession. And what a lot of teams have done this season is just sit back and allow them to dictate. United are pressing a little bit higher than a lot of the other teams have. And as I said, they've got that threat on the counter-attack with the pace of the front three.
At TalkSport Live, if you'd like a shout-out, hello to Timothy, who's walking his dog in Goodyear, Arizona. We need to see the dog, Timothy, not just the road in the photo that you've sent. Always like a cute dog or a cute kid, but that definitely doesn't look cold in Arizona. And hello to Kaleo as well, who's listening over the radio with his friends via 92.3 FM in Nigeria, hoping for a great game. And again, reference to Nigeria, disappointing in AFCON. Manchester United have the ball. It's with Rashford. He hot-foots into the area and then has the pace to get to the byline, and that's good defending from Romero, who has the captain's armband for Spurs, standing strong and tall at the near post, deflects it out. Manchester United corner.
I think this is good from Marcus Rashford. I think Pedro Porro is brilliant going forward. I don't think he's a very good defender. Run at him 1v1. Can they get Rashford and Garnacho 1v1 against Udogie and Porro? If they win that battle, they'll win the game.
15 minutes gone. Manchester United corner, far left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes to deliver towards the near post. Half cleared by Spurs to Mainu, who's 30 yards from goal and central, and he's happy to go backwards to Wan-Bissaka. Spurs are trying to press here, and Nana is pretty much on the halfway line to act as an outlet, and then he chips a deft ball forwards. That's a lovely little delivery up to Bruno Fernandes, who tries to cross it after taking a touch, but it takes a deflection. Højbjerg will clear all the way back towards Wan-Bissaka, who's happy to let the ball bobble out for a throw-in right on the halfway line. Hello to Garner Guna, who says, did I just hear the TalkSport Live commentator say everyone is cold in the world? He needs a lot of schooling as to what the world is. I mean, I was being sarcastic. I didn't genuinely think that the likes of Ghana and Arizona are freezing. At TalkSport Live, if you would like a shout-out, or if you'd like to criticise the commentator, that's absolutely fine as well. A world of free speech, as Werner is defending at the moment, skips in a little bit of trouble here, and Højlund is running back towards Vicario, but the Tottenham keeper able to be alert and gather the ball, and it stays at Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0. Jim Ratcliffe is here, sitting next to Sir Alex Ferguson, and Manchester United are looking to continue their great run against Tottenham. No team has won more home games in Premier League history than Manchester United against Spurs. If they win today, it'll be 25. Does that mean anything to a player? That kind of long history that's one-sided?
I don't know. I mean, certainly when I was at Spurs and we played Manchester United, I used to know a couple of the Manchester United players, and they used to say that Alex Ferguson would take the Tottenham game the most. He would pick his best team to go and play against Spurs because he knew that Spurs were always capable on their day of beating them.
Just got to look at Radu Dragusin, not warming up yet. He's on the bench. He's got an excellent beard as well, a slight Viking quality to him. The Romanian, who has joined from Genoa as a doggy, comes hurtling down the left-hand side, crosses the near post. It hits Evans, who looked a bit disappointed that ricocheted away, and it's another Tottenham corner.
I think Johnny Evans, for me, that looked like a look of, I'm doing a lot of defending here. Why am I doing so much defending? And that's not a good sign after 18 minutes.
Could be a long afternoon.
Yeah.
7 corners in total in 18 minutes. 3 for Manchester United, 4 for Spurs. Richarlison looking for another goal to make it 6 in his last 6. Standing around the penalty spot, Bentancur right in front of the goalkeeper. Corner comes in towards the near post, and it's glanced into the far right-hand corner by Richarlison. 6 goals in 6 games. The Brazilian is on fire, and it's certainly more than Spurs deserve. They have responded well after falling behind, and they are worthy of being level. And no sod, no problem. Richarlison again. Manchester United 1, Tottenham 1.
Well, they struggled to defend the first corner, didn't they? Ball in, whipped in. This one's whipped in a little bit further into the 6-yard box. Richarlison just gets ahead of Wan-Bissaka and Højlund and just glances his header in at the far post. But United need to defend corners better. You know, Evans hasn't got off the floor, Varane hasn't got off the floor, Wan-Bissaka hasn't attacked the ball, and they've paid for it. Spurs back on level terms, and deservedly so.
I think when you look at that header from one angle, even though, as you say, it's a free header, there's such a crowd in there, and there's also Dalot standing almost on the left post, but he's about a yard in. And when you see it from the near left angle, you realise he can only really put that in one place to score.
It's one of, when you go for that sort of header, you're not really, you're not even looking at where the defender is. You're just trying to get a glance, and you kind of know where the goal is. I mean, he might have glanced it another time, and it might have gone just wide. It's very difficult to get the exact glance you want, but it was perfect from Richarlison.
Thanks to Timothy, who's now sent us his dog, Lucy, and a very cute dog as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might be a black lab, that.
It looks like a black Labrador, doesn't it? Yeah.
I know nothing about dog breeds, though. I've got a golden doodle, and I could not name you another dog breed confidently anyway, but that is my guess. Black lab. If you'd like a shout out at TalkSport Live. Højlund with the opener, cancelled out by Richarlison's glancing header, and Tottenham very worthy of being 1-1 in this game. They've responded well. Manchester United, though, look dangerous from wide areas. Garnacho and Udogie is going to be a key battle, as is Rashford against Porro. And there might even be a logic of switching Rashford to the right-hand side and letting him have a go at Udogie and Garnacho at Porro. We'll see as the game goes along. They are interchangeable players, but Tottenham feel like they're in control, not just back on level terms parity-wise, but they are starting to dictate the rhythm as well. As on the ball at the moment is Van de Ven, who we've barely mentioned, but he does love to come forwards. And that's the thing, we haven't mentioned him because everything's been wide for Manchester United, or it's been in their own box. Absolutely.
I think what Van de Ven gives Spurs that they haven't had all the time, it is the ability to defend high up the pitch and really press high up the pitch, as Ange Postecoglou likes them to without the ball, because he's so quick if the ball goes in behind.
21 minutes gone, 1-1 at Old Trafford. Chris Perry and myself, Ben Jacobs. Hello to Truth Social, who says, listening in the car with my pup, Nico. That dog only looks about 3 months old, with big, cute black eyes.
Big eyes, absolutely.
Here's Timo Werner, cuts inside from the right-hand side, and that's Werner in a nutshell, really, an enterprising run, but balloons it over the bar. And I don't mean that critically, because we know about the potential. I mean that statistically. Burst onto the scene at Chelsea, and then suddenly there was a goal drought, and this is what he struggled with, really. You get into these decent positions 20 yards from goal, but the technique just let him down.
It's, you know what, it's worrying from Manchester United's point of view how easy it was for him to get into that scoring position, but as you say, the finish really let him down. The technique wasn't quite there, looking to bend it into the far corner, got underneath it horribly.
Timo Werner making his debut, 10 goals in 56 Premier League appearances for Chelsea between 2020 and 2022. His first Chelsea goal was actually against Spurs in a League Cup tie. They ended up losing that, though, on penalties. Tottenham, though, with the lion's share of the possession. I would have thought they've had about 60% of the ball in the last 10 minutes, and that's a neat ball forwards to Richarlison, just a little bit too short, but only by a roll or so. Wan-Bissaka half clears, and now Werner picks it up just inside the area, and again he tried to just sort of take a reasonably meek shot without moving his body first, and it was easily blocked. But even if it had got through, it didn't have any power or direction on it. But Tottenham are getting second ball, second opportunities, as Bentancur spreads it out to the right-hand side. Porro under a little bit of pressure, and then there's a late challenge on Johnson by Wan-Bissaka. This could be a yellow.
Porro's made a lot of this. Wan-Bissaka, without doubt, wins the ball before he makes any contact on Porro. Porro has made a lot of this, and it's not the first time this season that Porro has certainly made a meal of a few challenges, and he likes to stay down. I don't even think he catches Porro there. follow through, sorry, it's Brennan Johnson. But the follow through goes through, but he can't do anything else. To win the ball there, he has to go and make that challenge. I'm not sure Brennan Johnson's hurt. He's got up and he's not even limping. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. He's got the player booked. It's a really good tackle.
And yeah, it's a yellow card. Chris makes a great point. The replay shows that Wan-Bissaka went in fairly, but with pace and slightly from the side, and referees tend to see that and give a yellow. Quick free kick taken down the right-hand side. Johnson running freely, able to keep it in, chips it into the box, and then Dalot clears, but Johnson was offside from the original run, and the delayed flag means that it will be Manchester United ball.
It's going to be a yellow card here for someone. Bentancur, I think, had too much to say.
Yeah, it's just getting a little bit niggly here. Rashford now is having words with Bentancur. We're just seeing a replay now of Bentancur playing the ball forwards into the path of Johnson, and then he just seems to be mouthing afterwards. Unclear to who, but he said too much, and the referee was only about a yard away, so Bentancur needlessly into the book as Manchester United take a free kick quickly, and there's an offside against Hoyland. Either way, Vicario was quick off his line as sweeper keeper to head it clear, but it's going to be offside, and it will be a free kick to Tottenham inside their own half. 25 minutes gone. Spurs 1-1 thanks to that glancing header from Richarlison, whose incredible record continues. He's just lighting up the Premier League. 6 goals in his last 6 compared to 5 before that in 45.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's confidence, it's belief, it's maybe the new system that they're playing now. And you've already said that he's been to see a counsellor, and that's really helped him.
Udogie sprinting down the left-hand side away from Maino. Dalot there again, and that's a clean challenge, even though Udogie is hobbling away. Dalot got all ball, and now Bruno Fernandes tries to play a long diagonal from right to left, but Skip is in the way. Fernandes has been a bit of a passenger so far in this game.
I always think that if you can't get the ball to him, then he is going to be a passenger. You have to get a player like him on the ball, and United haven't been good enough in possession to do that.
Skip feeds it into Bentancur, a little bit too strong. Wan-Bissaka steps in. Richarlison is putting on pressure, but now it's with Dalot, and he should be able to clear it for Manchester United on the edge of his own box. Poor diagonal ball, though. Johnson nearly fed in, but it will allow a counter-attack. Tottenham have wasted that. Porro gave it away, and now Marcus Rashford at the other end comes storming forwards, runs into a little bit of trouble in the end, and Tottenham, through Romero, will clear, but that's a wasted chance down that right-hand side. All it needed was a better fed ball, and Johnson might have been in on that right-hand side. Yeah, no, absolutely. There are going to be opportunities at both ends of the pitch for these teams on the counter-attack. It's going to be making the right decision and the right weight of pass, and that's going to be the detail that's going to define this game. Hello to Ryan, who says, listening to the game from the beaches of Playa to Carmen. Great goal from Hoyland, hoping for a 2-1 United win. So there are some people with Son, as Tottenham give the ball back down the left-hand side to Eriksson, at least briefly. And the ball doesn't quite go out of play, and Eriksson will be able to gather it. Now it's with Evans on the halfway line. Varane with his violet boots. And Eriksson once more against his former club, via Brentford, of course. There was some talk that Eriksson might have wanted a move back to Spurs, but it didn't seem like Tottenham at the time were too interested in re-signing him. So he's at Manchester United, and he's another that needs to try and influence this game. I feel like Manchester United, even before, which is more surprising, the equaliser just went into their shell. Yeah, and credit to Spurs for that, because Spurs dominate the ball so much, they force you to defend. And when you look at the setup in that Manchester United midfield, Fernandes, not a great defender, Eriksson, not known for his defending, Mainoo's got a very young player, has got an awful lot of work to do in there, because
Eriksson and Fernandez are both not natural defenders, and there's going to be lots of bodies coming into that area of the pitch. Certainly Udogie and Porro will run in there when Spurs have got the ball, and they're going to have to do a lot of that today, and I'm not sure they're cut out for it.
Richarlison's goal, by the way, made a little bit of history for Spurs as well. 34 league fixtures in which they've scored. That is a club record for Tottenham. So goals not a problem. Quite the opposite for Manchester United. But on the ball at the moment is Evans. Manchester United have only had 2 attempts, one of them being the goal. Spurs have had 6 with 3 on target as Timo Werner picks it up down the left-hand side but goes backwards to Udogie. And now Spurs just inside the Manchester United half, up to Richarlison, 30 yards from goal, spreads it neatly to the right-hand side. Brennan Johnson, meek effort, caught, I think, between a shot and a cross, comfortably saved by Onana at his near post. And it stays at Manchester United 1, Tottenham 1.
Yeah, I think he's been a slight disappointment, Brennan Johnson, since he signed for Nottingham Forest.
Route 1 for Manchester United, long ball over the top to Rashford. This very similar to the goal, but Rashford's a bit wider and he makes the wrong decision there. Just on the half volley, tried to guide in a cross, far too close to Vicario, and there were 2 red shirts at the back post, but the ball that Rashford played was at the near post.
But that's the Spurs trying to play a really high line, holding the halfway line, and Rashford has got the pace to get him behind. He's at Wan-Bissaka behind this time. Good defending from Porro, but they're getting in behind Spurs down in those wide areas, and they're making use of Spurs' high line. And if Rashford actually had that ball back on his right foot, I think it would have been much better quality. But obviously crossed it in with his left. But it's a corner now for Manchester United.
Corner coming from that Wan-Bissaka run after the Rashford cross. More goals in this one for sure. Can Højlund get another? Corner from the far left-hand side. It's in towards Dalot. He got his head to it, but then it's blocked at the near post. Half-hearted appeals for handball, but only from the fans. Eriksson gets his head to it. Bit of head tennis goes on, and then the Dane picks it up again and pokes a neat ball on the half volley to Garnacho, who goes down under a challenge from Udogie, and a couple of Spurs players, including Romero, telling Garnacho to get right up. There was definitely a bit of movement towards him.
There was an arm around his waist, but he didn't need to go down. I don't think it's enough for a penalty.
No, I don't either. I think he made the most of that, and Romero let him know. Manchester United continue to come forwards. Marcus Rashford hot foots again towards the byline, and he'll win himself another corner off Porro. And Garnacho is still remonstrating.
Well, you know that VAR will be looking at it. Steve, is it Chris Kavanagh today? I think it's Chris Kavanagh on VAR, yeah. I mean, he does put both arms around his waist, pull him back slightly, but he does still doesn't need to go down. I mean, you could argue anywhere else on the pitch that's a foul. That's for sure.
But Garnacho kind of exaggerates
it. He did. He goes to ground, and as you say, he really exaggerates it.
VAR check is over, no penalty. Werner feeds it to Richarlison, just on the edge of the area on the left-hand side. He slips a little bit, and that will allow Johnny Evans to cover and play a composed ball to Dalot, who then just goes for distance on the clearance, all the way back to Højbjerg. And now Romero and Van de Ven, very solid partnership. Postecoglou's got the best out of Romero, and Van de Ven, before the injury, took so well to the Premier League. And that's when you start to think, well, if they're keeping clean sheets because they're always going to score goals, maybe they are going to be genuine title contenders.
They don't keep many clean sheets, Spurs.
Perhaps they will, though, now that Van de Ven is back.
That's the big problem. 5 clean sheets this season in the Premier League for Vicario. If they kept a few more, because as you mentioned, they score enough goals, Spurs. You know, they need to keep goals out at the other end.
Yeah, Tottenham not only score goals, but their games have goals. A Premier League high 71 goals in Tottenham's games, compared to a Premier League low 49 goals in Manchester United's games. As Tottenham have a bit of space here on the right-hand side. Pedro Porro comes storming forwards, crosses, but it's not got enough on it to reach Werner at the back post, even though he applauds it, and Dalot just calmly chests it back to Onana, and then Manchester United try and break forwards early, but Udogie covers Garnacho well. I think Udogie's just about got the better of that battle after maybe a perilous 5 minutes.
But what Garnacho is doing, he's making Udogie defend. Udogie gets forward so well for Spurs, as does Porro as he's travelling forward now.
Neat ball down the right-hand side. Brennan Johnson crosses first time. Again, probably the wrong decision. There was only really Richarlison as a target at the near post. It was too high for him, but the cross hasn't gone out of play, and Werner will interchange passes with Højbjerg. Skip just trots forwards towards the edge of the area on the left-hand side. It's back to Udogie, and Tottenham happy to take their time here. 34 minutes gone. Patient from Spurs. Everyone behind the ball for Manchester United. Tottenham look more like the home side and Manchester United the away one.
I just think it's the way that Tottenham play, that they do dominate the ball really well. They do force you to defend just with the numbers, and the way that the fullbacks come in field makes it very difficult for you to go and press the two centre-backs, and so they will dominate possession. But United, of course, Spurs, as many problems as I've seen a lot of teams this season.
Tom Leach says he's got the palm and has sent us a very tall palm tree, but no sun is out, although Everton didn't lose, he says. Decent enough point for Everton against high-flying Villa. And Sporty Laz is listening in Nigeria. Big love from here. Please, Manchester United, make my day and finish with a win. Lot of disappointed Nigerians have been in touch with us after their AFCON opener, as Richarlison has it on the halfway line. Manchester United have to find a way to get their foot on the ball. Skip with a square pass out to the right-hand side. Bentancur's ahead of him. It's back to Romero, who's happy to just pass it backwards to Vicario. Every Vicario touch seemingly outside of his area. And that's the kind of goalkeeper that Postecoglou wants, a sweeper keeper. Udogie has it on the left-hand side now. A little bit of pressure being exerted by Højlund. Van de Ven might be dispossessed here by Højlund as well. He takes a little slip, and Højlund does really well. Feeds it into the box. Bruno Fernandes was almost in there, but Bentancur just did enough to put him off, and eventually Vicario recovers.
Yeah, that's Spurs in a nutshell. They will take chances. They will look to keep possession at the back. Højlund nicked it off of Van de Ven, and Fernandes almost got a shot at goal.
Spurs, though, coming straight forwards. It's like a basketball game at the moment, end to end, and Werner has it. Edge of the area, left-hand side. Backwards it goes to Højbjerg, who's still expected to potentially leave in this January window. Werner once more, who joined from Leipzig. Back to Udogie. Just ball gets a bit stuck under his feet, but Tottenham will keep possession. Everybody inside the Manchester United half for the home side. Not a great deal of pressure on the back line, and that will allow the ball to be fed to Werner in a very wide position on this left-hand side. Two defenders up against him. Backwards he goes to Skip on this occasion. Werner once more, a bit short of options on this occasion. Tottenham, though, not rushing it, not really switching the direction of play at the moment, just looking for options down this left-hand side. Back into central midfield it goes with Bentancur, and now they will switch the play to Porro down the right-hand side. Porro and Johnson haven't really been on the same page so far in this game. It goes infield to Richarlison, and he tried just to loop it over the shoulder of the defender and into the box, but it's half blocked. Back it is with Skip, and then Porro couldn't quite prod it into the path of Johnson. But this is exerted possession by Spurs, but not necessarily exerted pressure.
No, I mean, Manchester United are sat back with everyone behind the ball, and they aren't really causing too many problems. Spurs are just playing in front of United, really.
Chipped out to the right-hand side by Højbjerg. Johnson wanted that played early by Porro, but he switches the direction to Werner. Well-weighted ball. Werner brings it down well inside the area, uses Udogie on the overlap, and then Johnny Evans was there to block at the near post, and Garnacho can try and start a counter-attack, but immediately two Spurs players swarming around him. And that means that Tottenham can track back. Eriksen with a diagonal ball down the left-hand side to Rashford, who's on the halfway line, and he's got space to run. Bruno Fernandes is on the overlap, trying to check his run and stay onside. He's filtered offside, though. Rashford chips it into Højlund instead. Oh, and it goes over Højlund, and Udogie with a header trying to clear it off his own post. Almost an own goal. Højlund picks it up on the edge of the area, and then Richarlison slides in and clears with Eriksen waiting to take a shot. And it looked like Rashford had just played it too high, but I don't think Udogie realised that there was no one behind him. He went to play the ball, backwards header, off the post, nearly 2-1 Manchester United. Very
fortunate Destiny Udogie there.
Now it's in towards Bruno Fernandes, who had timed his run well, but the cross was just a bit too strong, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was good from Rashford. Comes inside on his right foot, bends the ball, looking for Højlund's run. Højlund would have just been offside, but went over Højlund's head, and Udogie trying to head it behind for a corner. Wasn't aware, as you said, that he really had a little bit more time than that. Headed it straight against his own post. So fortunate.
Must just have seen Garnacho in his peripheral vision, but Garnacho wouldn't have got to it at the back post, as down on the ground is Johnny Evans, but play continues with Marcus Rashford inside the box, plays a little 1-2 with Rasmus Højlund, and then Rashford finishes in the bottom right-hand corner, passes it in with pace, an instinctive finish. Højlund and Rashford combine, and Manchester United lead by 2-1.
Well, this again is all about making Tottenham defend. They're not great defensively. Rashford, we know when he's out on that left-hand side, is such a threat when he comes inside on his right foot. He drives inside with the ball this time, but I think everyone's kind of expecting him when he gets it to get the shot off, but he plays a cute little 1-2 with Højlund. Ball gets played to Rashford from Fernandes. I think everyone thinks he's going to shoot. He fakes the shoot, comes inside, shrugs off Porro too easily, just brushes him aside, and then passes it in with his instep into the bottom corner through the legs of Mickey van der Ven. It's a brilliant finish from Marcus Rashford, showing great composure, just bends it in. It's a beautiful finish.
Rashford's first touch and finish through the crowd, and as Chris said, able to pass it with whip and curl it into the far right-hand corner. Vicario with no chance. Johnny Evans will be glad, because he was down on the ground saying, why didn't I get a foul?
It's good advantage, wasn't it, from the referee?
Rashford's 4th Premier League goal of the season. And he loves scoring against Tottenham. Only Arsenal and Leicester more prolific sides for Rashford than Tottenham. As we just saw a shot of Wayne Rooney in the crowd. Shame for him it didn't work out at Birmingham.
He's got a bit of spare time, hasn't he? So why not go to Old Trafford? It's been entertaining so far.
Seemed like a risky appointment at the time, given that Birmingham were challenging for the playoffs when he was appointed, and unfortunately for Rooney it didn't last very long. Tony Mowbray now in charge there, and Rooney's a free agent, so he's at Old Trafford, and he will be well aware of that type of Rashford finish, and delighted no doubt to see a confident Marcus Rashford. And that's encouraging, isn't it, to see Højlund and Rashford on the score sheet in a big game and in the same game. Yeah,
absolutely. Both of them have been questioned this season, their form, for whatever reason, their lack of goals. Rashford, I think, when he plays on that left, is when he's at his best. He's been played centre-forward a couple of games recently, and he's certainly not as effective there.
Spurs will feel they're well capable of getting back into this one. We might get a Premier League thriller at this rate. You would imagine there's more goals in this. Tottenham's biggest win came a few years ago in October 2020. They were 1-0 down at Old Trafford and ended up winning 6-1. They obviously can't do that now, as we get a look at Erik ten Hag up off the dugouts and now back to discuss tactics. Hello to Wayne, who's been in contact, enjoying your broadcast on Sirius and playing with his girl Nova. Nova is a dog. Sunny, 61 degrees in Arizona.
Nice. Very nice.
Dog doesn't seem to mind the heat. 42 minutes gone. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 1. If you'd like a shout out at TalkSport Live. Chris Perry and Ben Jacobs with you as Manchester United are looking for a third here. Ball down the right hand side to Bruno Fernandes. Gets there first. Works it infield to Rasmus Højlund, unselfishly to Marcus Rashford, who sets himself. Doesn't quite take the shot. He was at an angle and he didn't want to take it. Hesitated too long. Challenge comes in. It ricochets out to Wan-Bissaka. And now back to Rashford, who originally was in acres of space on that left hand side. And again, it was unselfish by Rasmus Højlund. But I just think Rashford felt the angle was wrong and didn't want to pull the trigger.
I think Rashford just had no confidence in his left foot, wanted to come back on his right.
Bruno Fernandes trying to force it through to Garnacho, who's over on that left-hand side. Romero is there. And now it will be cleared by Porro out to the right-hand side. Bentancur's kept the ball in play. Bruno Fernandes quickly in from behind, though, to poke the ball out for a throw-in.
Hoyland's ball releases Rashford. He has to take this with his left foot. Just strike it now. He tries to cut inside, and the chance has gone. Bentancur's back round on the cover. I think a really confident Rashford hits that with his left foot.
First touch with the right foot, though, wasn't great.
It wasn't perfect, was it? No.
And I think that took him wider than he wanted and gave him even less confidence of having a go on the left foot. 2-1 Manchester United, entertaining first half, and we've got a minute plus added time to play. As Tottenham set a counter-attack going here to Timo Werner. It's a lovely ball. Werner on the edge of the area, one-on-one with Dalot, and Werner on his left foot drags it wide, 3 yards wide. It's another very poor shot from a very promising position.
What a ball from Oliver Skipp, though. Bounced up on the volley. Beautiful technique to ping it out wide to the left-hand side for Werner. 1v1 against Dalot. Dalot knew that he wanted to come inside in his right foot, showed him outside onto his left, said, go on then, if you've got that much confidence on your left foot, take it on. And he dragged it well wide of Onana's goal.
30 seconds remaining. We'll probably have 2 or 3 minutes of added time, if only for the goals. Not that many other stoppages, though. You're listening to TalkSport's Premier League Live as Manchester United with a decent ball out to Garnacho here, who's just on the edge of the area. Doggy gets a foot in, Garnacho recovers well, and then Bruno tries to chip one in first time. The intended target was Rashford. Porro sticks out a limb. Manchester United throw in. 45 minutes are up, and the board says a minimum of 3 minutes. Manchester United take the throw into Mainu, who's been quiet but has done some unsung work, and he'll win his side a corner here off Brennan Johnson. So a good opportunity for Manchester United to give themselves some breathing space just before half-time if they can get a third goal.
That's a good opportunity, isn't it? Certainly with a 2-1 lead, you'd want to be attacking rather than defending this late in the first half. Spurs have to make sure they don't concede another one here.
Bruno Fernandes trots over. It's his 200th start, by the way, for Manchester United. Varane is at the near post. In comes the corner from the far left-hand side. Intended target Varane. Van de Ven was there. He gets ahead a half clear and backwards. A Doggy keeps it in. It sits up nicely for Bruno, but he lashes it over the bar. And it's a goal kick with 2 minutes of added time to play in the first half.
Yeah, it was a difficult chance for Bruno Fernandes coming back at him at pace, but with the technique that he has, you'd expect him to get a lot closer to goal than he did.
Certainly would. Manchester United, though, will be content at half-time, but Tottenham will feel they're very much in this one as well. It's set up nicely. It's
right. Every Tottenham game I've watched this season, really entertaining, chances at both ends. They have been the team to watch this season, without doubt, Spurs.
Now Porro comes down the right-hand side, and even though the cross was a bit weak, it comes off the legs of Varane. And it will be a Tottenham corner with 90 seconds remaining. There's 2 balls on the field as well, but Vicario takes care of that.
I think that might have been Fernandes' one, just come down.
Tottenham corner, far right-hand side. Porro to take it, left hand up in the air. Richarlison's already scored from a set piece with a glancing header, and in it comes! Romero! Header off the bar! Still pinging around in the area. Romero can't believe he hasn't scored from point-blank range. Højbjerg now spreads it out to the right-hand side. It wasn't the best hit ball, but Porro does well to bring it down. Chipped in towards the near post. It will fall to Højbjerg on the edge of the area, and he takes a shot, but drags it 2 yards wide to the left-hand side. But the corner was a golden opportunity, and there was Romero centrally from the 6-yard area. Clean contact, and Nana beat him, but it crashes back off the bar.
Well, Kobe Mainu is marking Christian Romero. He can't handle him. Romero should score, there's no doubt. Header, free header pretty much, 5 yards out. Cannon's back against the crossbar. Van de Ven can't put the rebound in, but Romero should score. Should be 2-2. Every single corner that Spurs have had, they look like scoring.
2-1 it is, though. Manchester United living dangerously, open game. And it's got all the billings of a Premier League classic. We're into the final 10 seconds, and Tottenham win themselves a free kick. Højlund just getting in the way, and then Højlund pushing and shoving and fronting up to Romero, and this is needless. Romero can be a hothead. We saw that against Chelsea, but there's absolutely no need for Rasmus Højlund to get involved. You're 2-1 up. The half-time whistle is going to go regardless of the free kick, and Højlund will be booked.
No, I think Højlund wanted to slow down the free kick. I understand that. And you kind of do want to wind Christian Romero up because he could get himself sent off. You're winning the game. Actually, I don't mind it from Højlund.
But I bet you anything, this free kick is taken and it's the half-time whistle, which means that it couldn't have had any consequences.
But United are in shape. They're definitely going in at half-time without conceding. I don't mind that from Højlund. He didn't know exactly how long was left or anything like that. It was quite good.
Free kick taken, half-time whistle goes, an entertaining first half. More from Chris Perry in just a moment, but Manchester United lead by 2-1. All kinds of drama, an early Højlund goal, a fierce finish into the top left-hand corner, a Richarlison equaliser with a glancing header, and right on the stroke of half-time, or close to it, Marcus Rashford making it 2-1. Little 1-2 with Højlund in the box, took a touch and bent it low into the right-hand corner. But then right before the break, Romero hit the bar. Spurs very much in this one, but Manchester United ahead at the break. Half-time at Old Trafford on TalkSports Premier League Live. Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Tony Meola tells it like it is on Counterattack.
Christian Pulisic has been great for Milan. He looks free. He looks like he's enjoying his game. He's become one of those guys you can't take off the field. I'm happy for him because this boy took a lot of ish on his way out the door at Chelsea.
Counterattack every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and we'll waive your application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2024. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Pay no application fee if you apply by February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate by Chev.
At Pilot Flying J, earning extra points is like earning extra money. And it's easy when you activate Push for Points in the My Rewards Plus app. Pro drivers who do can earn an average of $36 in points each month. That's $36 you can spend on most anything from drinks and snacks to showers and parking. And all you have to do is open up your My Rewards Plus app and activate Push for Points. That's how you earn like a pro, everywhere you go. Only at Pilot Flying J. Store retail value based on average fill of 97 diesel gallons and 12 fills a month. Subject to My Rewards terms and conditions.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh yeah, let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab you a trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
New year, new you. The BlendJet 2 portable blender makes it easy to reach your health and fitness goals. And during our New Year's sale, the more BlendJets you buy, the more you save. So stash one in your desk at work, in your car for your commute, and on your kitchen counter to remind you to make something healthy. Crush those New Year's resolutions. Go to blendjet.com and take advantage of our New Year's sale today. Blendjet.com. Blendjet.com. That's blendjet.com.
Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine bring you the best basketball talk on radio every morning on the starting lineup. They're breaking down the games and talking to you on the phone.
I love you guys and the show so much. I hate to shower in the morning because I might miss something. If they take you guys off, they're losing the subscription.
Thank you. It's the starting lineup. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Only on SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86. And anytime you want on the SiriusXM app.
TalkSports Premier League Live, Ben Jacobs and Chris Perry with you. Half-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 2, Tottenham 1. A pulsating first half. Early goal from Højlund, glancing header equaliser from Richarlison. Marcus Rashford, the difference between the sides. Let's look back on the highs. Rashford into the area, sets himself, neat feet by Rashford. It falls to Højlund, who fires it into the left-hand corner. Manchester United 1, Tottenham 0. Højlund with the winner against Aston Villa, and now with his second Premier League goal inside 3 minutes. Rashford shows poise and composure. Eventually the shot deflected into the path of Højlund. It looked like he needed it first time, but he took a touch, set himself and smashed it into the top left-hand corner.
Hoyland, who just shifts it onto his left foot and fires a rocket of a left foot shot. Vicario's got no chance, and Hoyland, who missed a few chances in the FA Cup against Wigan last week, gets off to the perfect start, and he really could do with this goal, particularly Old Trafford.
Spurs corner into the near post, Bentancur, and this time it's off the line. It was a glancing header towards the far right-hand corner, and Dalot was on the line, and he'll feel that he's vindicated after ball watching a moment ago.
Brilliant from Dalot, who gets round the niner and clears off the line, otherwise it's 1-1.
Bentancur right in front of the goalkeeper. Corner comes in towards the near post, and it's glanced into the far right-hand corner by Richarlison. 6 goals in 6 games. The Brazilian is on fire, and it's certainly more than Spurs deserve. They have responded well after falling behind, and they are worthy of being level.
Wan-Bissaka hasn't attacked the ball, and they've paid for it. Spurs back on level terms, and deservedly so.
Play continues with Marcus Rashford inside the box, plays a little 1-2 with Rasmus Højlund, and then Rashford finishes in the bottom right-hand corner, passes it in with pace, an instinctive finish. Højlund and Rashford combine, and Manchester United lead by 2-1. Porro to take it, left hand up in the air. Richarlison's already scored from a set piece with a glancing header, and in it comes! Romero! Header off the bar, still pinging around in the area. Romero can't believe he hasn't scored from point-blank range. So, 2-1 Manchester United at half-time. Tottenham have had their opportunities as well. There's more goals in this one. Chris Perry alongside me. We'll look back as well on the Everton-Villa game in just a moment. But at half-time here, Ange Postecoglou, let's start with him. What will he be saying at half-time?
I think he'll be looking to maybe defend a little bit better, certainly in wide areas, and if they can do that, I think he'll be really pleased with what they've created going forward. I mean, they've had more chances, they've had better chances almost than Manchester United, really, but they just haven't taken them. Romero should score, they should be level, but I think he'll be happy. They've dominated the game, they've controlled possession, and that's what he likes to do.
And Erik ten Hag can't really afford to stick, if you like, and protect this lead. Manchester United need to go and get another in the second half.
You feel there's more goals in this game, but you do feel that certainly Manchester United defensively aren't good enough to sit back and soak up Tottenham's pressure without conceding. So I think another goal for United is crucial if they're going to get anything from the game.
More from Chris in just a moment, but this is the second Premier League match of the day. We've got all of the goals and drama earlier. Everton and Aston Villa played out a stalemate, not necessarily a bad point for either side, and this one was watched by Rich Wolfenden.
After a real battle on the banks of the Mersey, both Everton and Aston Villa had to settle for a point apiece. 0-0 the final score at Goodison Park, where both teams had golden opportunities to score. In fact, Aston Villa did score in the first half. Alex Moreno having a goal ruled out by VAR. Leon Bailey, who got the assist, adjudged offside by a foot or so. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a great chance in the first half for Everton, though. His one-on-one with Emi Martinez saved by the big Argentinian. However, in the second half, there was a good chance for Matty Cash. He had a one-on-one from about 3 yards out. That blocked by Mikalenko, who came from nowhere to make a saving tackle. Everton thought they might have won it as well with 5 minutes to go. Decore slamming home from close range. Unfortunately, that also ruled out for offside, which meant it finished Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 at Goodison Park.
So 0-0 in that one, 2-1 here at Old Trafford. The Premier League table looks like this at the moment. Tottenham, if they are to lose, would be 5th, which is where they started, but they lose ground on Aston Villa, who get another point. They're on 43, 2 points adrift of Liverpool, the leaders, but they've played a game more. Manchester City would stay in 2nd. A win for Manchester United at the moment takes them to 7th. It doesn't look like they can catch West Ham because the Hammers have got a vastly superior goal difference, but it moves Manchester United above Brighton and also Chelsea, who they'd fallen behind. Chelsea are putting together a little bit of form. For Everton, the point takes them to 17, and they are 1 clear of the drop zone. Luton and Burnley drew 1-1 yesterday. Long way to go, though, here at Old Trafford. But as far as Everton are concerned, Are you happy enough with a home point and a clean sheet against Aston Villa, given Villa's form?
I think it's a good point, yeah. Villa are a very, very good side this season. Obviously not quite as strong away from home as they are at home, but a good point. And going into what could be a crucial week for them, they should find out if their appeal has had any sort of success, whether it reduces the points deduction at all.
Yeah, Everton either on 17 or 27, depending on which way you look at it. 27 points would take them to 12th. As it stands, though, they are in a relegation battle. Bottom three, Luton Town, Burnley and Sheffield United. Second half is underway here very shortly. Chris, we spoke in the build-up about changes and how the Manchester United bench had depth and the Tottenham one didn't. So if Spurs are to consider a change, who do you think might be introduced?
It's very difficult to see who they bring. Brian Hill is the only real attacking option that they have, possibly for either Werner or Brennan Johnson, you'd feel. But the rest of the players, you have to say, are probably more than likely to stay on the pitch. I think we might see the new signing, Dragusin, come on maybe for Mickey van der Ven around maybe the hour, 17-minute mark, just because he obviously it's his first start since that injury for van der Ven.
So Dragusin on the bench, having joined from Genoa. More from Chris in just a moment. Second half underway in about 4 minutes' time by my maths. Manchester United leading Spurs by 2-1 on TalkSport's Premier League Live.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness gracious.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
We are saying goodbye to the greatest college football coach this sport has ever seen.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
College football is going to be a lot worse off without Nick Saban.
And expert analysis on college sports radio.
This is huge news. This is something that is going to have a massive domino effect on college football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
There's something magical about unboxing. When you unbox BritBox, you uncover a world of British entertainment. Stream the UK's most brilliant series, including new and upcoming seasons of Shetland, Father Brown and Death in Paradise. Plus new originals like Payback, Irving Welsh's Crime and Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Unbox BritBox and escape to the best of British TV. Stream with a free trial at BritBox.com.
Last night was crazy. I was swimming in the depths of Atlantis 1 minute and exploring the jungle in Aztec Quest the next.
Dude, thought I told you that nobody likes hearing people talk about their dreams?
But that wasn't a dream. It was real life. I was talking about Lucky Land Slots.
Whoa.
With over 100 free-to-play games available, you'll never be bored. Wake up to LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available only to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ TNCs apply.
Jen, you look great. That zero sugar diet really agrees with you.
Thanks, Sarah. I didn't really lose my sweet tooth. I just used Sweet Leaf Sweet Drops instead of sugar in my coffee.
Is it stevia?
Yep, it's a liquid stevia leaf extract. There's so many flavors, and it's keto and diabetic friendly.
What an easy change. New year, new you, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect time to make a healthy change.
Buy Sweet Drops at sweetleaf.com, Amazon, or look for the green dropper bottle in the baking or vitamin wellness section of your local grocery store.
No one covers the Premier League like Rodney Marsh on Grumpy Pundits.
I can remember at the start of the season, I thought that Chelsea needed a complete reboot of the football club. I didn't think Pochettino was the man for the job then. And what I mean by that is bringing in people new that have not been around the league. Pochettino's been around the league. It's working out that's the case because Chelsea are nothing short of abysmal.
Catch Grumpy Pundits every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on Sirius XM FC.
TalkSport's Premier League Live. Good afternoon. Ben Jacobs and Chris Perry with you. Second half about to get underway here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 1 at the break. Teams are coming back out now. Spurs are first to appear. Manchester United, though, shortly behind them. An early Højlund strike, his second Premier League goal of the season, a fierce finish. Cancelled out by Richarlison with a glancing header, but then Marcus Rashford and Højlund combined, played a little 1-2, and Rashford bent it into the far right-hand corner for 2-1 at half-time. But right on the stroke of half-time, Romero put a point-blank header onto the bar, so Spurs will feel they should be level, but Manchester United are edging this one, and it's been a good game, Chris Perry, so far.
It has, yeah, it's been entertaining. You know, United certainly haven't sat back like a lot of teams and allowed Tottenham to dictate. Spurs have created chances when they've had possession, but United have been a real threat on the counter-attack.
Ange Postecoglou still looking very calm, doesn't ever give too much away in a navy puffer jacket. Doesn't look like there's been any changes either at the break for either side. I'll run through the teams for you once we get a lull. And here come Manchester United now. Eriksen and Rashford deep in conversation. Rashford, one of the few players to wear gloves. Most of them are being brave, but it is pretty chilly out there. One change for Manchester United from their last Premier League game. That was a 2-1 defeat to Nottingham Forest. Rasmus Højlund comes back in for Anthony. And for Spurs, Mickey van der Ven back from injury. Timo Werner making his debut. Højbjerg gets a start too. Most of the key battles from Tottenham's defensive point of view have been out wide. A doggy against Garnacho, Porro against Rashford. And I suppose, Chris, from Manchester United's defensive perspective, they just need to deal with set pieces better.
They do. Yeah, that's been Tottenham's biggest threat, set pieces, without a doubt.
Underway here, second half. Tottenham kicking from left to right now, all in white. Manchester United in red, white, black socks. And Tottenham, who had 67% possession in that first half, on the ball at the moment, but there's a dispossession of Højbjerg there by Højlund, and now Rashford picks it up and runs with purpose towards the byline, but then eventually just ran out of room, and the last touch is off the Manchester United player. But that's a sloppy start.
Really sloppy. Really sloppy, yeah. Højbjerg being caught on the ball by Bruno Fernandes.
Tottenham, though, with the goal kick, quickly away here down the left-hand side. Skip feeds Werner up against Dalot. Werner now cuts inside and lays a neat ball to Bentancur, who's taking his time here, but he finds the right-hand corner after just 52 seconds of the second half. Skip to Werner, who gets an assist on his debut into Bentancur. Looked like he didn't want to shoot, took one touch, took two touches, but it was the right decision. He set himself just to the left of the 6-yard area and fires it diagonally into the far right-hand corner. Manchester United 2, Spurs 2.
It's just so easy. Dalot doesn't get tight enough to Timo Werner, allows him to dance into the box, just slide a square pass into the run of Bentancur, and then Johnny Evans has got to do more. He's got to get out to the ball, get pressure. He just sits off him. Bentancur takes a touch from his right foot onto his left foot, hits it hard and high, beats Onana at the near post, but Onana's got no chance because it's so close to his goal. Johnny Evans is far too passive there.
Onana beaten, Evans passive, ball flying from the near post to the far right-hand corner, and Onana just couldn't stand tall enough and react. Goalkeeper not really to blame.
No, definitely not.
Bentancur with his first Premier League goal of the season. He got 5 last campaign. Hasn't played as much.
No, he's missed a huge amount with injury, hasn't he?
Erik ten Hag in a grey winter cap that matches his beard, but that beard will be getting greyer and greyer and greyer at this rate, because Manchester United pegs back and Tottenham with a confident start, but now Bentancur gives it away. He just couldn't get his foot on the ball in the centre of the park, and Rashford was nearly able to latch onto that, but he knocked it too far in front of him and then commits a foul on Romero. Tottenham ball. It's just so open.
It's
I know we've come to expect this.
I said didn't I before that I've done a lot of Spurs and they have been brilliant to watch. Every game's had goals and incident, and this has been a really good game, and it's anyone's game with you know, most of the second half still to play.
2-2. Don't forget, if you'd like a shout out, you can get in contact with us via @TalkSport Live. Send us a photograph showing us where in the world you are listening from. Richarlison is up against Evans, who'd moved out to that left-hand side to offer some support to Wan-Bissaka, and Evans sticks a foot in. Tottenham have a throw-in, level with the penalty area on this near right-hand side. 49 minutes gone. Porro capable of going long or short with this yellow winter ball. Tottenham's number 23 looking for options. Only Kieran Trippier has more assists than Pedro Porro, with 7 in the Premier League. Porro sets it up to Johnson, who set that quite neatly up towards the back post, and Dalot did well because Werner was waiting. And now Dalot not only wins the header, but can bring the ball away all the way up to the halfway line, and then nice idea to feed Garnacho. It looked like the ball would be okay originally, but it just seemed to bounce with pace, and out it goes.
Just
Tottenham through.
skipped off the turf away from Garnacho, didn't it? It's a really important header at the back post by Dalot, though. Just took it off the head of Timo Werner.
He's been Manchester United's at-large best defender, but even he has had a few lapses.
It's interesting today. Most of his game time has been at left-back in recent times, but they've swapped Wan-Bissaka out to the left, and Dalot's playing on the right today up against Timo Werner.
In terms of the lineups, Onana, Dalot, Evans, Varane and Wan-Bissaka, Eriksen, Mainu, Garnacho, Fernandes, Rashford and Højlund. And Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, Skip, Bentancur, who's just scored, and Højbjerg, Johnson, Richarlison, who's now got 6 in his last 6, and Werner. And Spurs on the ball inside their own half. 5 minutes gone of this second half. TalkSport's Premier League Live. Bentancur down the line. Chance here for Porro if he's onside. Flashes one across the face of goal. Not the best ball, picked up though by Werner at the back post. There were no real options when that cross came in. Werner then is challenged by Dalot, and it ricochets off the Manchester United player as Werner tried to put in a cross out for a corner.
Yeah, I think worrying just how easy it was for Pedro Porro to be free inside Manchester United's box and able to flash a ball across their goal. I mean, he didn't look up, and it was a poor ball, but Spurs have won a corner eventually, and we all know what happened in the first half from the corners. Spurs have really looked dangerous.
Van de Ven, Richarlison and Romero all in a cluster about 3 or 4 yards in front of the penalty spot. Onana has got enough space for now. Corner comes short in towards the near post. Maybe that wasn't the best option given how much joy Tottenham have had so far, but they are still in possession, but they're back on the halfway line now, and Manchester United are pushing out. Both Werner and Johnson might not be the most clinical, but they win a lot of set pieces, like corners.
They've got pace, haven't they, and they're a threat. They lack that little bit of quality with their final pass or shot.
Porro to Skip, fed on to Richarlison, who tried to just pass it first time into the far right-hand corner. I think he came over the top of the ball and sort of scuffed it slightly.
Hit it too high up on the ball, didn't he? You're right, Ben. Looking to hit it just underneath and bend it into that far corner, but almost scuffed it, as you said, along the floor. Simple for Onana.
And it stays at 2-2. 51 minutes gone. TalkSport's Premier League Live. Eriksen, haven't really seen that much of him, but that's a sweeping diagonal ball, but Rashford was too far wide, and it's a simple enough clearance for Porro. And now it's with Romero, captain in Son's absence. Son leaves for the Asian Cup with 12 goals. But at the moment, not missed, because Richarlison is on fire. And now it's on the left-hand side for Tottenham, 30 yards from goal. Werner using his pace. He's got a step ahead of Dalot, plays it in first time, deflects off Evans, but there was no one peeling away at the near post, so Onana can gather and quickly out to Bruno Fernandes, who shrugged far too easily off the ball in central midfield, but then Tottenham give it back to Wan-Bissaka, and he gives it back to Porro, all the way back to Vicario, and nobody's really got a foothold in the game in the centre of the park.
No, sloppy in possession, both sides there, but Wan-Bissaka in particular had a real opportunity to release Højlund, and his pass was just miles off target.
Get in contact with us via @TalkSport Live if you'd like a shout out. We'd love to hear from you. Send us a photograph as well as to where in the world you are listening from. Kids, dogs, hot weather, cold weather, all welcome. It's freezing in Manchester, but this game is definitely warming up those watching. Box office Premier League entertainment, but I'm not sure either manager will be feeling particularly relaxed at this stage, because it's finely balanced. Tottenham, though, will feel like they're the ones controlling the rhythm, at least, of the game, as they did in the first half. Van de Ven, no sign of Dragusin yet warming up, or any imminent changes, maybe though in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Romero, who hit the bar with a header in the first half. After this, it's FA Cup for both sides. Tottenham have got a tough one at home to Manchester City. And for Manchester United, it's an away trip to either Eastleigh or Newport. And then after that, away at Wolves for Manchester United in the Premier League, as Richarlison feels he's tugged down by Eriksson, and I think that's the right call by the referee, John Brooks. Free kick to Tottenham, edge of the area, near right-hand side.
Richarlison's touch actually lets him down. See, there's no difference between that and what happened to Garnacho in the penalty area, but it's given us a free kick outside the box. Spurs have got a really good opportunity now to put the ball in the box, but if that had been in the box, I don't think a penalty would have been given.
I suppose it's VAR are not there to say definitively, they're there to overturn any obvious error.
Yes, yeah.
And if it's 50-50 and it's not given as a penalty, they say we can't overturn it, whereas the referee gives this one. But you're absolutely right. And I also think referees are too inclined with those 50-50s not to be definitive and let VAR take a look.
Absolutely.
Free kick to Tottenham, dangerous position, edge of the area, near right-hand side. Pedro Porro whips it in first time, not the best delivery. Bruno Fernandes gets his head to it, but it is a corner.
Well, they went short last time, which, as you said, was a surprise, Ben, with the success that they've had just from delivering it into the box.
Van de Ven standing just to the left as he looks at it of Varane. Werner at the back post. Bentancur's in there as well. Porro to deliver, and that's a better headed clearance by first Evans and then Garnacho, but everyone's behind the ball for Manchester United, so Højbjerg will pick it up on the far left-hand side with 55 minutes gone. He goes backwards though, which is a surprise. First time really we've seen Spurs be more negative from that kind of position. They easily could have turned forwards and tried to get the ball back into the box. Tottenham go long. Varane will get his head to it. Eriksson is battling in midfield, gets a touch forwards to Højlund, who just took his eye off the ball. But yeah, he's offside.
Yeah, coming back from an offside position with his pace, he needs to get back in quicker, because there was a real opportunity of a counter-attack there.
Hello to Jason, who's driving through Texas. It's 18 degrees. Windshield is freezing over. Does a windshield freeze over in 18 degrees? I mean, it does, because we've got photographic evidence. And Jason also says, need Manchester United to pull this one out. Not sure. Chris will agree with you as a former Spurs player.
I just hope there's some more goals. If it finishes 4-4, it'd be good for me.
Good for the neutral as well.
Absolutely.
TalkSport's Premier League Live. And Tottenham work it in from a throw-in to Richarlison, who fires that one against the feet of Varane, and it will be another corner. Every time Tottenham come forwards, if they don't succeed, they seem to either get a second opportunity or a set piece.
Yep. They're very good at pinning you back in and not allowing you to get out.
And eventually this pressure will tell. Tottenham have got 78% of possession, and it's another corner. Brennan Johnson is at the near post. 3 players just in front of the penalty spot, including Richarlison. Werner at the back post, so the same setup as the previous corner. Pedro Porro to deliver, and that's well cleared again, this time by Evans.
Yeah, Johnny Evans to the last 2 corners. I think what they've managed to do is they've freed Johnny Evans up as a spare player in the middle of the 6-yard box, and just said to him, just go and attack the ball.
I think Tottenham need to vary it up as well. It's clear they're going for that near post glance. The last 3 corners, the long corners, have all gone for that near post and been read by Evans. This one goes towards the back post, and Werner's got an opportunity. It wasn't easy to take. He had to move his body back and then try and hit it on the volley. Not the cleanest of contacts, but he was in space. Dalot had decided not to move with him and instead double mark Richarlison along with Maino, but Werner just couldn't make clean enough contact to keep the ball down.
Really awkward height for him, wasn't it? As you say, he was running away from goal. He's just tried to guide it towards the top corner. Ends up going over the bar. There's been a substitution for Manchester United.
Christian Eriksen off, Scott McTominay on. McTominay, as we were talking about in the build-up to the game, could maybe feel a little bit aggrieved not to have started this, as Manchester United's top scorer in the Premier League with 5. But on he comes, as Rasmus Højlund does really well to get away from Mickey van de Ven. Neat feet, Højlund in towards the near post. Vicario could have just taken that. He didn't get a shout. A doggy decides to put the ball out of play. Manchester United corner, and if Manchester United score from this, there'll be a few words between Vicario and a doggy here.
Yeah, obviously I don't think Vicario gave a doggy a shout. A doggy needs the shout there to leave it. A doggy doesn't know what's behind him and is just dealing with the ball, but Højlund showed great pace to outrun Van de Ven there.
Manchester United corner, near left-hand side, 58 minutes gone. Bruno Fernandes a little bit too strong, and this time a doggy did get the shout. I think he realised anyway there was nobody there, and he lets it go out of play at the back post. Goal kick, Spurs. 59 minutes gone. End to end. And definitely more goals in this one. Send us your predictions for how the game is going to materialise in the last half an hour plus added time at TalkSport Live, as Tottenham have got plenty of space here. Højbjerg surging forwards. That was a really good challenge by McTominay, but it still falls to a Spurs player. Brennan Johnson now on the right-hand side, and he crosses, and it comes off Wan-Bissaka, and you won't be shocked to hear it's another Spurs corner.
Yep. It's end-to-end, isn't it? Both sides looking to attack with real pace when they get the opportunity. What a tackle that was from Scott McTominay just on the pitch to take the ball off of the toes of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
Højbjerg's white shorts now covered in mud. 16 corners in the game, 10 to Spurs, 6 to Manchester United. Porro to deliver the corner from the right-hand side. Varane is able to get it away to the edge of the area, still on the right-hand side. A doggy finds Porro, who goes neatly down the line to Bentancur. The cross, though, too close to Onana, making what we think is his last appearance before going off to AFCON. Incredible, really, that he was given permission to play in this game. Mainoo in central midfield for Manchester United. 30 minutes remain on TalkSport's Premier League Live from Old Trafford. Manchester United being watched by Jim Ratcliffe, who's got that 29% stake, as a ball from the right-hand side is dealt with by Van de Ven, who probably doesn't have more than 5 or 10 minutes in him, given that it's his first game since November.
You never know, as a centre-back, you don't maybe expend as much energy as other areas of the pitch, so you never know.
Garnacho almost in there, but good defending by Van de Ven, who's looked solid as ever. Now here's an opportunity for Wan-Bissaka, just dispossessed on the edge of the area, but it falls to Scott McTominay, who couldn't quite guide the ball into the left-hand corner. It opened up for him, as it did for Wan-Bissaka, and McTominay just had to hit the target there, and that's 3-2.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka running through on the edge of the box, a little tackle from Van de Ven, just puts it into the path of McTominay, 20 yards out, just the goalkeeper to beat. Drags his shot inches wide of the far post.
Hello to Emeka, who is in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and says a Timo Werner late winner is written all over this game. We shall see. 61 minutes gone, 2-2 at TalkSport Live if you'd like to get in touch. Chris Perry, former Spurs defender, alongside myself, Ben Jacobs. What was it like when you went to Old Trafford compared to now? We're going to see another substitution. We'll bring you details of that in just a moment. But as it happened, because presumably when you visited, there was that fear factor, there was that intimidation that maybe is lacking about Old Trafford now.
It was the biggest stadium in the country at the time. You know, 77,000 people, everyone against you, and you knew that you were playing against the best team, the most relentless team. You couldn't afford to make a mistake, and you knew that if you got ahead, they had players to bring off the bench that could change a game in a second. It's lost that mystique now. It's lost that. People aren't scared to go there now.
Yeah, I think you summed it up nicely. Great news for Manchester United as Lisandro Martinez is back, the butcher as he's known, and he will replace Johnny Evans.
Well, that's good news for United. He's a very, very good defender, Lisandro Martinez.
I think to be fair to Evans as well, he put in a relatively solid shift, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, he's won a couple of really important headers in his own box. That's for sure. Could have done better with, obviously, Bentancur's goal. But You know, when they signed Johnny Evans in the summer, with all due respect, I don't think they were expecting or wanting him to go and play the amount of games that he's had to play with the injuries they've got. And so he's done what he can do, but Martinez back for United it is massive.
Hello to Kawa, who is in Texas, checking in. All these Texans say it's freezing, but they're telling us at the same time it's 18 degrees.
He's an Everton fan by the looks of it.
He is indeed, and says, give me a Richarlison winner. And that is why, because of the connection between Everton, Richarlison, and now Spurs. I'm guessing I'm saying degrees and they mean Fahrenheit. That must be why everyone's so cold in Texas. I'm billing it like it's a nice, balmy 18 degrees, but it must be 18 Fahrenheit. As a doggy has it on the left-hand side, and down he goes. It's inside the area. It's a challenge from behind by Varane. Play continues for now. Big appeals, and then Richarlison runs into trouble. Dalot deals with it. Chris Perry, penalty or not?
It could be. It could be. It's from behind. It's clumsy from Garnacho. That's for sure. Good pressure from the doggy. Wins the ball back from Garnacho. Garnacho comes back at him. Does make a challenge in the box. I'm not sure it's enough, like you say, in terms of is it a clear? In fact, it's a dive from the doggy. I don't think he makes any contact at all.
It's only maybe the right hand that's touching him on the back, but it's not a push. No penalty. Manchester United could be in at the other end. Long diagonal ball to Marcus Rashford inside the area. Rashford just got the ball stuck under him, and eventually Romero will come away with it. And two Spurs defenders, including Romero, did well there.
But again, it's end to end. There's a penalty shout at one end, there's a penalty shout at the other end. It's so open.
There is no pause for breath. But that's what you want. I think that's what Manchester United fans want, these kind of games, as the doggy is down at the moment, so that's a bit of a concern for Tottenham.
He feels he was caught by McTominay in the build-up, then ball over the top into the path of Rashford. 1v1 against Porro, who does really well, stands up. This time, make sure he goes on his left foot and ends up winning the ball back. McTominay's tackle is probably a stamp on the foot more than anything.
I think he won the ball first.
He got a little bit of the ball, didn't he? I think the doggies, I'm not sure there was an awful lot in it.
Erik ten Hag, deep in conversation with Marcus Rashford at the moment. 2-2, 65 minutes gone. A reminder that earlier we had a stalemate between Everton and Aston Villa. Yesterday, Manchester City and Kevin De Bruyne starred in a 3-2 victory at Newcastle.
Some goals in that game, weren't there? I mean,
incredible.
All three of City's goals are just absolute beautiful goals. The two finishes from Newcastle were great, but you know, Bernardo Silva's little flick at the near pass is just divine, and then you've got the quality of De Bruyne coming on the pitch. I think the scary thing for everyone in this league is that City are just 2 points behind Liverpool, and they've got De Bruyne coming back to full fitness and Haaland not even on the pitch at the moment.
They're on a run, 6 wins in all competitions, 3-2 at St James's Park. Chelsea beat Fulham 1-0, much needed victory for them. 1-1 between Burnley and Luton, controversial equaliser for Luton. Did you see that goal, Chris?
I did see the goal, yeah. I thought it was probably a foul on the goalkeeper. That certainly, he was taken out from coming to get the ball, wasn't he? He was blocked off.
And after this, it's sort of a split game week. 20th of January, Arsenal, Palace, Brentford, Forest. 21st of January, Sheffield United, West Ham, and then Bournemouth against the leaders, Liverpool. TalkSport's Premier League Live, quarter of the game to go plus added time. Chris Perry and Ben Jacobs. The doggy is up, and Wan-Bissaka has the ball for Manchester United. 10 yards infield and 40 yards from goal. It's now out to Rashford on the left-hand side, who can't work it into Højlund, but those two have combined for a goal already. Bentancur from deep will come away with it for Spurs. Still haven't seen Radu Dragusin yet. Plenty of time, though, for the Romanian to make a debut. Tottenham still may want a midfielder as well. Conor Gallagher has, of course, been linked. Porro spreads it out to Werner. He's got another chance to run. He's up against Dalot. Timo Werner plays it off Dalot, and that's pretty much what Werner's done every time. Not quite get the perfect cross or shot, but always win something.
He's a threat, isn't he? He's a threat. He's a great outlet for them on that left-hand side. He's got tremendous pace. He's very direct when he gets the ball. And to be fair to him today, usually he wants to come inside, but he's gone on the outside a couple of times too, so he's more unpredictable to play against.
Steve says himself, Jody, Elise and Marge in Denver, and yes, if we're putting it in British terms, and thank you for that, is -7.
Pretty chilly.
So that is
Colder
very
than here.
cold. Cower says it's -10. Tottenham corner, left-hand side, and that's cleared by McTominay's head, but it will fall to Skip on the edge of the area. It takes a deflection that could have gone absolutely anywhere. Might have been off Højlund. Skip's just sort of licking his lips. He knows that was a chance, but it will deflect away.
He didn't hit it brilliantly. He sort of hit it into the floor. It's McTominay, I think, who stood up big and strong and blocks it behind.
David is in windy central Jersey, hoping for a Tottenham winner, praying AFCON ends early. So Son and the likes, Sarr as well, let's not forget, can come back. Perhaps a certain midfielder in West London is in order. He's talking about Conor Gallagher. Tottenham corner, Porro from the right-hand side. Glancing header, which in the end went nowhere, and Varane hacks it away.
Yeah, Bentancur's header looks as though it was heading towards goal. Certainly hit a red shirt. It's just where it hit that red shirt.
VAR will have a look. We get into the territory of natural arms.
It was very close, wasn't it, anyway? It seemed to be a very close proximity. Definitely Bentancur wins the header, though, and was goal-bound.
Referee's John Brooks, VAR is Chris Kavanagh. Looks like the check is over. No penalty. Varane able to scramble it clear. Now Mainu down the right-hand flank for Manchester United. Garnacho against a doggy. Haven't actually seen that much of Garnacho this half.
No, but Udoggi's played a little bit deeper in this half and taken up a more orthodox sort of defensive position, and it's meant that Garnacho hasn't been the outlet, but Rashford still has on this left-hand side.
69 minutes gone. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 2. There's a ball's work down the right-hand side, intended for Brennan Johnson. Martinez will step ahead of him, and he's pointing that should be a Manchester United throw, and it will be given to the home team. Wan-Bissaka to take it. Hello to Tom, who's in Cocoa Beach. Everton are holding on, he says. And they are in the league, but a welcome point against Aston Villa for them earlier. 0-0, 2-2 here at Old Trafford. Thank you to Tom as well for your kind words about our colleague Russell Hargreaves, who sadly passed away in December. We all miss him greatly as well. And our thoughts are with his family. He was laid to rest earlier in January. And everybody in the football family and the TalkSport family sending our love to all of those close to Russell. Two-two here at Old Trafford. 71 minutes gone. Bentancur, little back heel, gives it away. Picked up by McTominay, who's got a lot more touches, I think, than Manu or Eriksson in the centre of the park.
It gives them a physical presence in there as well, which they miss when he's not there.
And then it's up to Rashford, but I think there's an offside here,
yeah.
Even though Rashford was fouled.
Yeah, he was offside before he was caught for the free kick. Yep. Again, Spurs' line is literally on that halfway line. It's so dangerous. And he's caught by Van de Ven, but obviously the offside decision comes first. He stayed down, Marcus Rashford, worryingly holding his left thigh.
Erik ten Hag unmoved. Rashford is limping quite heavily though. Wincing, but trying to run it off at the moment. Hasn't left the field of play. Hello to Carlos, driving in South Texas. Everyone's giving us the weather now. I must have started something here. 52 degrees in Texas.
We'll know where the weather is everywhere, all over the world by the end of this broadcast. It'll be good.
That's South Texas though, so it's a bit warmer. Manchester United wanted to get on with it, but it's still a Tottenham free kick for offside. The referee was sort of making a substitution signal, but we don't see anybody ready to come on, and it will just be the offside taken by Spurs. Rashford just seemed annoyed that there was a delay in the game. I don't know whether he was being asked to leave the field and then didn't, but I didn't see him exit it, and it's still 11 versus 11 with Rashford on the left-hand side as Manchester United whip a ball forwards first time, which looked like it was going to...
Van de Ven stayed down, maybe cramp.
Yeah, he was reaching for
he
it.
Stretched, wasn't he? Stretched his hamstring to try and cut that ball out.
Looked like it was going to dissect him. And
I'd say it's probably cramped by the way he's got up, but that might be a worry for Spurs, and that might force them into a debut for Radu Dragusin.
73 minutes gone. We'll see whether Dragusin is warming up. At the moment, Van de Ven is okay. Game's just hit a little bit of a lull in terms of clear-cut chances, despite the high volume of corners. Richarlison trying to change that as he turns away from Martinez briefly, but he's in a deep position, and now it's with Porro. Højbjerg back into central midfield. Bentancur finds Skip. Neat diagonal passing here by Spurs. It's worked onto Brennan Johnson inside the area, and he lets everybody down with the cross.
He's tried to cross it when he's in a shooting position, and it just dinks it into the hands of Onana, really. It caught between two different thoughts there. Brennan Johnson should have just put his foot through it and hit it a goal.
That just a confidence thing?
I think it's a confidence thing. He certainly has struggled since he's gone to Spurs.
15 minutes plus added time. I also don't think he's a natural goal scorer.
He's definitely not a natural finisher, without a doubt, no.
Long ball forwards by Manchester United, looking for Garnacho. He won't pick it up. Højbjerg battles, and Tottenham will come away with it on the left-hand side, but they're inside their own half. Udogie worked backwards. Bentancur, lovely little ball forwards to Porro in a central position. He can feed Richarlison. I think maybe Richarlison was offside. Ball too strong anyway. Onana gathers.
Yeah, he should still make the pass though. Overhits the pass badly. Hit the pass, put Richarlison through, and see if the flag goes up.
Don't forget you can get in contact with us at TalkSport Live as Rashford chips one forwards looking for Højlund, and that just again is overcooked, but it was a nice idea. Vicario alert, off his line to gather. Now Bentancur has it. Still no sign of mass Spurs changes. That's a neat looking ball, well weighted down the left hand side. Werner picks it up. He's offside though from Højbjerg, and you should never be offside. Those are the most frustrating offsides because you can watch the line.
I think Højbjerg just delays the ball a touch. Very tight, you know, with Varane. I think the linesman probably could have let that go. And then obviously you get into the realms of what happened yesterday with Ederson in terms of players getting injured when the flag could have gone up earlier and stuff like that. But very, very close decision.
Tottenham have had 14 attempts to Manchester United 7. Manchester United have actually only had 2 on target, and those are the 2 goals. So they've not tested Vicario.
No.
If it stays at 2-2, then who's happier with the point?
I think Spurs going away from home keeps United that far behind them. You know, Spurs are missing. I've got 5 first-team players down for me, 5 players who I think would start in their best team. Kulusevski, Son, Sarr, Bissouma and Maddison. I think they all start if they're fit.
Mr. House is just outside St. Louis, and it is -3, and there's a wind chill advisory. Send us a photograph. It doesn't have to be the weather. It can be you, your family, your friends, the football team you support, kids, dogs, anything. But the weather's nice. It's just making me feel even colder though.
Feels like -21. Windy
Wow.
there, yeah?
The wind chill's crazy. 13 minutes to go. Garnacho up against Udogie in towards the back post, and no chances being taken by Porro, who guides the ball out for a corner.
Yeah, it's a good ball in from Garnacho, bending it round the back of the Spurs defence. Porro, not aware of what's behind him, just puts it out. Rashford was behind him, but a good few yards behind him. Maybe could have had a touch and cleared it away, but it's going to be a corner for Spurs to defend.
Timo Werner, we think, is about to depart with Brian Hill coming on, but this corner first. Bruno Fernandes to take it for Manchester United towards the back post. It's set up for the spectacular, and Garnacho, who we know can do that type of thing, wasn't able to make contact because the ball was just a little bit too high for him, but he obviously got that overhead kick, and that was one from the training ground designed for a Garnacho volley from the edge of the area.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult when you see the ball coming from that distance and you've got players running towards you as well.
12 minutes remain. Tottenham now coming forwards, and that's a nice little touch by Brennan Johnson. It was route one, and he sort of just took it with the back of the right foot to knock it with a kind of backheel volley into this path, but then ended up running out of space.
Yeah, I think the question is, can either of these teams muster a winner?
Bruno Fernandes, the Manchester United captain, into Marcus Rashford, who's had a very positive performance so far. He's shrugged off the ball, and Fernandes is in a 50-50 challenge, and Romero gets the better, but Fernandes does well to win it back on the left-hand side, and he gets a cross in that goes all the way across the penalty area, just in front of the 6-yard area, and a doggy nods it out of play for a corner, again taking no chances.
Yeah, really good from Bruno Fernandes. He was tenacious in the tackle and persistent, wins the ball back, wicks a cross into the back post, and Udogie has to put it behind for another United corner.
Set up for a grandstand finish, 11 minutes remain. Manchester United corner, Højlund and McTominay around the penalty spot. Varane is joining them there. Martinez to the left, Rashford just inside the area, Fernandes just outside it. In comes the corner, it's in towards McTominay. He nearly got his head to it, but he's going to be penalised for a foul on Richarlison.
Yeah, I think it's just Richarlison does brilliantly here defensively, just flicks it off the head of McTominay, and McTominay ends up heading the back of Richarlison's head instead of the ball. It's actually not a line in. I think, does he get hurt by the ball? Because nothing else hits his head.
I think McTominay pushes him, and Richarlison just wants a breather.
It's a great header, really good defensive header from Richarlison.
Timo Werner's debut for Spurs ends. He did get an assist and won plenty of corners. Off he goes, and Brian Hill comes on. And I think in that debut we've seen everything really, the positives and the negatives, the work rate, the versatility, the threat, the pace, but not the finishing.
I think they needed another option in those wide areas, and he's that sort of option, and very similar to Brennan Johnson really, in that you're never quite sure exactly what you're going to get. Could do the spectacular at times, but can also make the easy stuff look really difficult at times.
Hello to Drew, who's in Chicago, listening while fixing frozen doors and roof leaks and buildings that he manages. -4, winter storm, and a cold spell across the Great Lakes. Maybe Manchester United, if you are a Manchester United fan, can warm you up here. Fed forwards into the path of Rashford from Garnacho, who takes a touch and guides it straight back to Vicario. Chris, you were shaking your head.
The final pass, I think, is just missing from both teams at the moment.
Yeah, lacking in a bit of clinical finishing.
A bit of finishing, a little bit of quality, a little bit of composure.
And it stays at 2-2. I still think there's a winner in this one. Could be plenty of added time as well. 9 minutes plus added time remain.
Well, you'd say that the next goal would almost certainly be the winner, wouldn't you?
Unless we get 15 minutes added time.
Both sides have shown great powers of recovery today.
Spurs with space on the right-hand side. Skip feeds Brennan Johnson, continues his run. Johnson used him as a decoy and then tries to take it on his left foot. Not necessarily the best option, and the cross shot is blocked. And Gil can't pick it up on the edge of the area, and Garnacho will play it off Udogie. I think on that occasion, even though we've been saying Johnson should shoot more, he maybe should have used Skip.
Yeah, particularly when he's coming inside on his weaker left foot. You know, he's not as capable. Probably should have used Skip as the option, and maybe looked to have gone again at the 1-2. Does look like Radu Dragusin is getting ready below us to come on and make his debut.
Yeah, we'll wait and see for who. Richarlison, who's on the edge of the area, and he fed the ball off a Manchester United player, and it nearly fell in the path of Gil, but instead it will ricochet out for a corner. I'm not convinced it will be Mickey van der Ven. I think that it might well be Oliver Skip going off, so shifting things about. Dragusin, who joined from Genoa despite a late hijack attempt from Bayern Munich. Ange Postecoglou played a big part in that. 83 minutes gone, 2-2, Tottenham corner, won a bit fortuitously by Richarlison. Can Spurs benefit from a set piece? Everyone in a cluster in the 6-yard area, corner to the near post, nearly a little glancing header there. Manchester United will scramble it away. I think it was Bentancur at the near post. He sort of just stooped, but I don't think he actually made any contact.
No, he just stooped underneath the ball, just mistimed his flick for the ball.
Gil. Backwards he goes to Højbjerg. And Gil again. Given away. Rashford didn't quite know where the ball was, but picks it up eventually under pressure from Porro. And then Martinez goes back to Onana, who is being chased down by Richarlison, but is able to find a diagonal ball to Dalot. And now McTominay on the right-hand side. Manchester United coming forwards with a bit of purpose here. Garnacho switches the play with a chip ball out to Rashford on the left-hand side. Wan-Bissaka's on the overlap. Rashford just drops his shoulder to get past Brennan Johnson, and then down he goes from Pedro Porro, who can't believe that a shoulder challenge is a free kick on the edge of the area. What did you make of that, Chris?
I think Rashford's won this. There's nothing in that at all. Rashford's just gone to ground. Should be a goal kick. He was never getting on the end of the touch. Just throws himself to the floor and wins a free kick. The referee, John Brooks, has bought that one.
I mean, most of him is outside the area, but that right foot might be on the white line when he's fouled. And if it is, it's a penalty, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
He's given it as a free kick already.
It's just outside, isn't it? It's just outside. Oliver Skipp is going to come off for Dragusin. So does that mean a change to a back three for Spurs? It'd be interesting to see what they do.
I think that might be the plan. Dragusin debut. Skipp does go off. On comes the 30 million euros signing. Bruno Fernandes free kick. I think once they've given the free kick outside the area, VAR can't actually look at it. So that was tight though. Rashford was very close to being on the line. Dangerous free kick for Manchester United though, just outside the area on this near left-hand side. Two-man Spurs wall. Bruno Fernandes to take it. Defending to do for Dragusin immediately on his debut. Bruno Fernandes, free kick. I think he went for a shot at the near post and it deflects off the wall, and that will go out for a throw-in on the far right-hand side. I think he faked the cross there and just went for the near corner.
I think because you're that close to goal almost, and all the defenders are that close to goal, you're almost better off going for goal. If you can miss the wall, it's very difficult for the goalkeeper to react.
At TalkSport Live, if you would like a shout-out. Hello to Kawa, who has a dog called Seamus, named after Seamus Coleman. And that dog is out for a cold walk. I think we've said the word cold more than we have any player in this game.
I was going to say, is it a little terrier who bites at your heels, but a bit like Seamus Coleman. But
and Rich as well is heading into the stadium shop to grab some Austin FC gear. And again says it is cold and windy. Nice little stadium down there at Austin FC. So thanks to everyone for getting in touch. 4 minutes remain, and Spurs might be in here through a doggy who's got an overlap with Gil, and he puts the ball into the box behind Richarlison.
It's good defending from Wan-Bissaka, who gets himself goal side of Brennan Johnson and never allows Johnson to get ahead of him. Clears the danger as Hill broke into the box and cut the ball back. 2-2.
Manchester United haven't drawn that many games. Van de Ven is down here.
Cramp.
And it's cramp, isn't it?
Yeah, you could see him sort of just say that it's cramp. And it's not a surprise, his first game back. It's been such a high-tempo game. It's been end-to-end at times.
It's Garnacho treating him as well. As Manchester United will make a substitution here. Marcus Rashford is going to be the player to depart. Garnacho is just helping Van de Ven with his cramp, very sportsmanlike. Anthony is the player coming on for Rashford, who got a brilliant goal to put Manchester United 2-1 up, having combined with Højlund. So he's played his part, but Anthony will get the final few minutes. Van de Ven back up on his feet.
Didn't look too happy, Marcus Rashford, did he?
No, I think he thinks that these Spurs defenders do Dragusin aside and maybe tiring, and he could exploit his pace, but Erik ten Hag has other ideas, and Anthony is the throw of the dice to try and get Manchester United all 3 points. But also it's probably because we haven't seen that much of Højlund in the second half either, so maybe he's the one that you take off. You play Rashford centrally.
I think he's wasted centrally, personally, Marcus Rashford. All of his best performances are out on that left-hand side, cutting in on that right foot.
2 minutes remain at Old Trafford, and Van de Ven is not moving freely, but he may not have to wait too much longer before he departs, because Spurs are going to make a substitution based on that cramp, and Van de Ven will go off, and on comes Emerson Royal.
Yeah, he's been playing centre-back, certainly pretty much since Van de Ven's injury. He's been playing centre-back regularly, so will be comfortable going into that area of the pitch.
Hello to Daniel, who's driving in Buffalo, enjoying the cute updates from our Texan cupcakes. And Randall, greetings from beautiful Moab in Utah. The Gooner would be happy with a draw in this match. And that's the thing, 2-2. It's good for Newcastle, it's good for Chelsea, it's good for Arsenal, it's good for Villa, and it's good for Man City and Liverpool. So everyone's happy, maybe, but these two. But like you say, I think Tottenham will be pleased enough with a point.
United, I think they have to win these games. They've put themselves in a hole when they have to come and beat these teams, particularly when they come to Old Trafford.
Yeah, otherwise there's no catch-up.
No.
There's no point swing, and Tottenham protect their gap. Villa dropping 2 points as well earlier, if you can call it that, in a tricky away game at Everton. This one not over yet, let's not forget it was 2-2 late and then 3-2 with a Hoyland winner against Villa. As down goes Fernandes, and this will be pulled back for a Manchester United free kick on the halfway line. Romero's having words.
Yeah, I think it was a late challenge by Romero. It's unlike him, isn't it?
Well, he's got through 89 minutes, and in fact a full 90 now, without getting into too much trouble. Minimum of 5 minutes of added time goes up, and it starts now as Anthony on the right-hand side. His cross is blocked by a doggy, but it will be a corner. In fact, it's a throw-in, not quite a corner, and it's taken quickly on that far right-hand side to Bruno Fernandes, who crosses first time. Dragusin, his first touch, and he gets it away with a comfortable header at the near post.
Yeah, he's an imposing figure in the box, isn't he?
Now Hill comes forwards with purpose to Bentancur, who just toe pokes it out to that right-hand side. Pedro Porro coming forwards with purpose, but he's wide and being tracked by Garnacho. Infield to Bentancur. Hill again, who's looked lively, looking for options in those bright yellow boots. Out to the right-hand side. Pedro Porro crosses first time. It's a good cross as well, but it's well defended with a glancing header away by Varane.
A really good header by Varane. Showed all his experience, picked up a great position.
4 minutes remain of the 5 minutes of added time. Spurs on the ball. Manchester United all inside their own half, looking maybe for something on the counter-attack, whereas Tottenham a bit more controlled in possession. All the way back they go to Vicario, knowing that there's no pressing at the moment, although Bruno Fernandes is trying to change that. Dragusin passes it out to the left-hand side. Hill. The Romanian Dragusin once more. Now Romero, diagonal ball to the right-hand side. Pedro Porro. Infield. Emerson Royal's first touch. All very neat, but not going anywhere. And then Wan-Bissaka takes the ball off Brennan Johnson. Can Manchester United come forwards on the counter-attack? They can't, because Wan-Bissaka kind of just invited the challenge from Porro. Stepped away. Porro smashes it out of play. Manchester United throw it. 3 minutes remain on TalkSport's Premier League Live.
I wonder if either of these teams can find that moment of quality that they've been lacking, particularly in the second half.
Seamus is enjoying the commentary walking Finley, an English cream golden retriever in Chicago, where it's equivalent to -21. Oh. The doggy is Finley's favourite player. Can dogs have favourite players? Whipped in from the right-hand side by Dallo, claimed by Vicario. I mean, an owner can have a favourite player, but can a dog, unless they're barking every time a doggie's on the ball? I suppose a doggy has doggy in the name, so it would be normal for a dog to like the player.
Is he every dog's favourite player?
Brennan Johnson cuts inside, again well placed by Wan-Bissaka. He falls to the ground, he stays on the ground, so now Manchester United might have a numerical advantage. There is 2 minutes remaining. Garnacho goes down, dives in my opinion, and there's not going to be a whistle there.
The referee's missed it there, because there's a clear foul by Porro, and Porro holds his hand up, and then Garnacho goes down and the referee doesn't give the foul. You can tell by the player's reaction that he fouled him.
And that's what you get by actually playing, unlike me. I'm like, it's a dive, but you've been there, so you know that it was a foul.
You
so
always
I
have that reaction. When you've brought someone down and you didn't mean it, you're like, oh, and you put your hands up. And it's a clear signal to the referee that actually there's been a foul.
Well, the game is finishing with a little bit of a lull in the sense we haven't really had too many chances in injury time. There's 90 seconds to change that. I just don't think Manchester United are being particularly proactive, but they have one possession here.
I think United are more worried about committing too many bodies forward and losing the game rather than actually going out and winning it.
But they've got the ball here, 35 yards from goal and on the right-hand side. Now it's worked to Martinez with exactly a minute remaining, of the 5 anyway. Wan-Bissaka, left-hand side. Garnacho crosses. It's a good cross as well. Oh, and the header's over the bar from Scott McTominay. Unmarked, 6-yard area. All he has to do is hit the target. 3 points for Manchester United, but he puts it over the bar.
That's the game right there. Beautiful ball. Garnacho cuts back on his right foot, bends the cross in. McTominay timed his run in between Dragusin and Udogie perfectly. Free header, 6 yards out. He has to score and heads it over the bar. He has to score.
And I think he's onside as well.
Yeah, he's clearly onside.
Erik ten Hag rubbing his grey winter hat. And no doubt when he pulls it off, there'll be a few more grey hairs. That's a big miss by Scott McTominay, and that should probably do us because the 5 minutes are just about up. Manchester United maybe with one last chance, but Mainoo's ball is too strong for Højlund. Vicario has it. The 5 minutes are up. We've not really had any stoppages in injury time either, and that will do it. It finishes 2-2. Golden chance to win it as far as Manchester United are concerned. Scott McTominay with a header over the bar in the dying seconds, and that will make Manchester United feel really disappointed because they'll feel they could have snatched all 3 points, but on balance a point feels like a fair result. We'll get the thoughts of Chris Perry in just a moment. Early Højlund goal cancelled out by a Richarlison glancing header. Rashford with a lovely finish into the right-hand corner. Bentancur then scoring for Spurs, firing one in at the near post, past Onana, and then late on, nearly won by Scott McTominay. But the full-time score at Old Trafford is Manchester United 2, Spurs 2.
From Cardi B to Billy Idol, hundreds of the biggest names in music are taking over the all-new Sirius XM app with exclusive guest DJs.
Glorilla is like, I love her. I heard the Tomorrow record. I'm like, I want to get on this song.
Olivia Rodrigo, Ed Sheeran, Metallica, Jelly Roll, and many, many more, all sharing their favorite songs and stories behind them. Hear all these guest DJs now on the new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the Sirius XM app.
Hello everyone, Tommy Smith here for the best coverage of the Premier League.
Wonderful speed of thought and movement. What a beautiful, beautiful goal.
Join Rodney Marsh and myself on Grumpy Pundits Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Sirius XM, FC 157 and anytime on the Sirius XM app.
Oh, not this song again.
Hello, Sarah. Real quick, if you had to choose, would you listen to elevator music all day or deal with payroll compliance?
Oh, payroll compliance for sure.
Wait, really?
Staying compliant is so much easier with Gusto. Gusto automatically calculates my taxes and files with all the right agencies for me.
That actually sounds great.
Hold up, can Gusto help my small business with compliance too?
Of course they can.
Choose payroll compliance without the ups and downs. Visit gusto.com/SiriusXM to sign up for free.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
We're constantly making promises to ourselves to live healthier. We're going to exercise more, eat right, and drink right. Well, isn't it time you start thinking about your water? Drinking right starts with Aquasana. Aquasana water filters give you immediate access to cleaner, healthier, extraordinary water. Water that's odor-free and tastes great. Aquasana water filters remove chlorine, PFAS, bacteria, and other impurities you don't want and leave you with the beneficial minerals you do want, like potassium and calcium. It's so good you'll notice an immediate difference in every drop of pure, delicious water. So whether you're washing vegetables or enjoying a post-workout shower, protect your whole home from contaminants with an Aquasana water filter. After all, healthy living starts with healthy water. Visit aquasana.com and use promo code SXM to get up to 50% off select systems. That's AQUASANA.com. Promo code SXM for up to 50% off. Aquasana. Better water, better you.
SiriusXM FC. SiriusXM FC 157. This is SiriusXM FC 157.